Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Moving Markets Podcast. It is Tuesday, June the 30th, 2026, last trading day of the month, last trading day of the quarter, and last trading day for the first half of the year. Can you believe it? We are at the halfway point of another year. And like they always tend to do, it seems like it has gone by so incredibly fast. It just seems to have flown by, absolutely flown by. Here everything in the pre-market was either flat to down just a little tiny bit, but as we open and as we begin trading, we've got everything, not every single stock, but we've got all of our indexes up a little bit. So we're trading a little bit to the upside right here at the open. I suspect if I had to make a call right now in this first couple minutes of trading, if I had to make a call on whether I thought the markets would finish the day to the upside or the downside today, I would tell you probably a little bit to the downside, if for no other reason, simply because it is the last trading day of the month, the last trading day of the quarter, the last trading day of the first half of the year. And a lot of people, a lot of brokers, a lot of registered investment advisors, a lot of people that manage, decent size amounts of money for themselves or for other people. They like to sort of have these benchmark times, end of a quarter, end of a month, where they sort of book their profits, they reposition things, they want to show their clients, look at what we did, and they want to put some profit on the table and book some profit. So if I had to wager, I would probably say we finish a little bit to the downside, but right now we're everything is just a little bit to the upside right now. This screen that you're looking at right now, of course, has a little bit of a delay on it. As we speak, I show the Nasdaq up almost flat, up 1.5. That was the S&P. Sorry, the Nasdaq up 22 and the Dow down 3 points. So really, really flat for all intents and purposes. And again, I would suspect it to kind of lean that way throughout the trading day. Um, and most likely, again, I would bet towards the downside, but not by a lot. And then I think Wednesday and Thursday, I think will probably be decent days. I think we'll probably finish this week on a high note. And then I think next week you probably get a lot of back and forth, some days where it's up, some days where it's down, and people are kind of going to not be too committed to one direction or the other in anticipation for the upcoming earnings season. We are in all truthfulness, we are about 2 full weeks away from the beginning of earnings season. And this is going to be a big earnings season. We're going to see with more companies, we're going to see what the impact has actually been on their bottom line. For a full quarter, second quarter, we have been 100% embroiled in this war with Iran, and it's not just going to be a little blip for the end of one quarter. It's going to be the entire quarter where we saw the effect of what this is doing. And so that'll be interesting. And then it's going to have an impact also on projections for next quarter. A lot of companies are going to give us a read on what this situation in Iran has done for their company going forward, how it's going to affect their company going forward. The Dow is now starting to tip a little bit more that way. I could, on another screen, I could pull it up and I will. I'm not sure which Dow stocks are sort of leading the move to the downside. It looks like Procter and Gamble, Disney, IBM. Um, None of those are really heavily weighted stocks, but Goldman Sachs, the heaviest weighted stock by a good margin, um, is is down. Let's see, they're bouncing all over they're down almost 1%. And that is arguably the biggest draw to the downside for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So Goldman. but the biggest loser in the Dow is Procter and Gamble down almost 2%, and they're towards the bottom third, maybe the bottom quarter in terms of the heavier weighted stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So that's not saying a lot. Um, as it relates to our portfolio specifically, and the things that we trade and the things that we're watching, we've got AMD is up another $20 a share, Nvidia up another $3.50 a share. Micron really, really flat. They started down a little bit, then they moved up a little bit. They're flat. They're up $3 a share right now, approximately, but that's less than a quarter of a percent for Micron. Still good for our trade. They had a rally yesterday. They finished to the upside. I know a number of people that got into that Micron trade yesterday in the morning got out of it before the day was over. Because of high volatility, I show the mid price on the Micron trade. I have my limit order set and in place, but I've seen the mid price on Micron go down as low as $1.80, which is just purely a function of one of the two legs of that option changing in price and the other one not changing in price. Because it's now getting deeper and deeper in the money, and it expires day after tomorrow. So it should, by all accounts, the spread between the price spread between the long and the short option should get bigger and bigger and closer to that $5. But it's the back and forth volatility on it is almost insane. So, be careful that you don't let it don't allow it to get you too worked up one way or the other. It's going to be bouncing around today. It's going to be, you're going to look at, like just for example, on only five contracts. That's all I was able to get into, so not a lot. On only five contracts, I show today, I show a loss of $220 right now, total. And then all of a sudden I show a gain of $100. And then a couple times on five contracts, I've shown just temporarily like a loss of $1,300. I'm like, that makes no sense. And then also all of a sudden I see the mid price go higher than my set limit order for a couple of seconds, and then it backs away. So it will get closer and closer and closer to having to trigger your limit order. Just be patient with it. It's not it now Micron is up 15, $16 a share, and AMD is up 24, $25 a share. So it'll get better and better as the day goes on, I believe. Even if those stocks give up a little bit of ground, I think it'll get better and better. So that's where we find ourselves now. I didn't let you know I am still working on trades. I've looked at a lot of things. I spent nearly 2 hours this morning before the market opened looking at possible trades. I'm looking at charts. I'm doing technical analysis. I'm doing fundamental analysis. I'm looking at companies that I think will move big ahead of their earnings in one direction or the other. And I'm looking at companies that I think might be close enough to their earnings report that they're more likely to consolidate. The challenge I'm having is finding prices that I like. Finding a good risk to reward ratio has been a major challenge. That's just simply not an easy thing. Because if I'm looking at an in the money bull call, I don't want to get too close to where the stock is trading right now. I want to make sure I'm looking at a good, what I think is a good, strong, short-term level of support. Let me give you a couple of examples. I looked this morning. This morning I was looking at Marvell and Palo Alto Network, and for Marvell, you can see right here that 260 looks like a pretty decent level of support. But whether I go to Thursday, which is only a couple days away, whether I go to next Friday on the 10th, or whether I go to Friday the 17th, doing like a 255, 260 in the money bull call spread, the mid price is 480 or something like that, there, which would give you almost no profit, even if it's a really high probability trade, there's still a chance that it could go against you. And for a maximum gain of maybe 3 to 5%, it's just like I look at that and think, well, that's not worth it. Same thing with Palo Alto Network. There's a case to be made on Palo, and I'm just giving you a couple of examples. Strong case to be made that 280 is now a good level of support. You could even make a case that maybe 300 is a good level of support right now. But when you plug that in for an in the money bull call, it's the price is ridiculous compared to, when you're looking at risk to reward ratio. Um, and then some other company, one other one that I looked at, just again, one more example. I looked at Alphabet. And I could make a case that even though they haven't crossed over to the bullish side, that 340 is a pretty strong level of support. But the price is difficult. So and then I'm still looking at. I made several attempts last week. Those of you that follow closely know I made several attempts last week on Boeing because I think if you go out 2 or 3 weeks, even though it's been flat for a few days, I think within 2 or 3 weeks, Boeing is likely to move back up towards 230 or back down to 210. But and in a long iron condor, the prices are just ridiculous on it. So I haven't given up on finding some new trades. I still would like to send out two, three, maybe four new trades this week, but I am not going to push it and do something that is not a very, very smart trade. It's got to be a really smart play for me to want to commit some money to it. So I will keep looking. As much as you're able to, continue to watch Discord, um, and we'll get something going. There's a number of companies that I think we could find really good trades on ahead of earnings. And then our closest earnings reports coming up are going to be the first handful are going to be Netflix, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. The bank stocks will report, I believe several of those bank stocks report on, uh, I want to say it's Tuesday the 14th. Um, I should bring it up here really quickly. I should get my, or I like Earnings Whisperer. A lot of you know that, but if I go to the calendar on that, I think when we start to look at the 14th, yeah, Citi, Goldman, Bank of America, JPM, Wells Fargo, that for all intents and purposes, that morning is the real official formal kickoff to the earnings season. And then there's a handful of other companies reporting that will, a handful of others that will report whoops, and give us some information over the next few days. But then things really get going. There's United Airlines, there's United Health and GE on Thursday before the morning opens or before the stocks open in the morning, and then Netflix on the afternoon of the 16th. Um, then you get into the following week and you start to get your first handful of the big tech companies. I want to say it's the 21st or the 22nd. Let me see if I can get it up here. There's AT&T, afternoon of the 22nd. There's IBM, Texas Instrument. There's the beginning of your tech stocks, and then more of them report as that week goes on. So, earnings season is not that far away. It's going to come upon us quickly. I would love to get a few more trades in ahead of earnings, but I'm committed to being very patient and very, very willing to sit back and be okay with trades not filling. So, um, and then I'm going to start in earnest today, making some adjustments to some collar trades. So probably the majority of those will come towards the end of the day, or things that I do at the end of the day for tomorrow morning's open. So watch for that as well. Uh, that's basically what I have for this morning. I'm going to wrap up right there and end right there. I'll be back on live tomorrow morning. I'll be back on live Thursday. Friday, of course, is a stock market holiday. The markets will be closed on Friday in honor of the 4th of July on Saturday. Um, I'm going to try and have any adjustments that I send, any new trades that I send, I'm going to try and have them mostly out and published to you, put on the website, send out in emails within that first couple of hours that the market is open on Thursday, so that if I don't feel like watching everything through the end of the day on Thursday, I can, for all intents and purposes, be done within a couple hours of trading on Thursday morning. Hopefully, you'll be able to call it a day by then as well. All right. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. See you back here live tomorrow morning. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye bye.